Hey there, welcome to Unit 1, Lesson 7. I know you've been hearing me say this throughout this entire unit, but remember, Unit 1 is all about expansion. So we have discussed the expansion of population, the expansion of technology, the expansion of people across the country. Today, we are going to focus on the United States expanding beyond their borders and kind of dabbling in an activity that the Europeans were doing known as imperialism. So, in your world history classes, you should have learned about how different European countries were going to Asian countries and African countries and kind of imperializing and taking those places over and trying to teach the savage people how to act like, normal people, quote unquote, white European people, right? So, the United States, because we want to be a world power as well, also plays a role in a bit of this imperialism, not to the level that the Europeans do, but we do still put our feet in there and dabble just a little bit. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So, first, let me talk to you about what imperialism actually is. This is just an idea that a stronger nation goes out and extends economic, political, or military power over a weaker nation. So this is basically when like big strong nations like the United States go out and try to take over or strongly influence another country that's weaker than them so that they can get something out of that relationship, whether it's more power or money or land, whatever it might be. So there are 6 different reasons that I need you to be familiar with as to why the United States started practicing imperialism. The first reason was that we had to keep up with the Europeans. Everybody else was doing it, so we needed to play a role as well if we wanted to be on that world stage as a powerhouse country. So the Europeans, as I said already, were expanding into Africa and Asia, and we felt like we needed to keep up with what they were doing also. The second reason was because of manifest destiny. So not only did we believe that as we moved across the United States that we had a God-given right to do that, because why would we have been able to do it if God didn't want us to do it? But we also believed that the shores of the West Coast didn't have to stop us. The Western frontier may have been explored, but that doesn't mean we have to stop expanding. We can continue to go out and explore in other ways. The third reason for us practicing, let me move this out of the way, practicing imperialism was because of global military presence and strength. Again, it's all about power. We wanted to be able to show the rest of the world how powerful we were. And during this time, we specifically focused on the power that we would get from the Navy. Because if you are going across the United States here, like you see in the map behind me, an army would be good for that. And there's no Air Force at this time because there's not airplanes yet. So when you're going outside of the borders, you're going to have to go into the ocean. So therefore, the Navy is going to become incredibly important. By 1900, the United States has the third largest naval power in the world, which continues to just put our strength out there and show the world that we're a powerful country to be reckoned with. The fourth reason that we participated was because, like I said earlier at the top of this, they wanted to be able to make money off of this. So they wanted to open up new markets. We in the United States were producing more than we were actually consuming. So if we were making all of this extra stuff in factories, we needed to be able to sell it to somebody. So opening up new markets and interacting with new countries was going to give us more people to be able to sell to. At the same time, we would also get access to the raw materials in those areas. So for example, you're going to learn about later today in your assignment that we were really, really interested in Hawaii because they would be able to provide sugar. So different areas are going to have different natural resources that we want to be able to get our hands on. Foreign trade in general was going to be that solution that could help the economy that was blowing up because of the Industrial Revolution, but you don't want to be making so much that you can't have people buy your stuff, because then people are going to lose jobs and the economy is going to tank. The last 2 reasons are, in my opinion, the worst of the 2 reasons. The fifth reason is cultural superiority, which is the idea that the Americans and the Europeans white people in general believed that they were better than other people in other areas of the world, that this social Darwinism, so if you remember from like your science classes, Darwinism is the idea that you'll have survival of the fittest, that Americans and Europeans had been the fittest, and as a society they had a right or a responsibility to go out and teach other like more native people how to be or how to act like white Europeans and Americans. So this is the idea of the Anglo-Saxon superiority. Anglo-Saxon means white European descent. And they believed, as I said, that they had this responsibility to spread Christianity and spread Jesus to all the people and spread ideas of civilization. And so clearly they were better than everybody else. And so this was going to be their burden, that they needed to go out and do this to teach everybody else the way that they should be acting and behaving. The last question is pure like nationalism, which is given a little fancy name during this time known as jingoism. This is intense nationalism, like intense love for your country, and you better not do anything against America, right? So this called for more of an aggressive, warlike foreign policy. Not every president's going to be super supportive of this. Cleveland and McKinley, who we'll talk about later, believed that this was morally wrong, that it wasn't going to be good for the economy to go out and show intense nationalism. But all these other countries around the world were doing the same thing. Like you became very aggressively inspired by your country, essentially. And that was jingoism. We needed to show the whole world who America was and why we were the most powerful. So those are your 6 different reasons. So let me take you to today's lesson and explain to you what you're going to be doing. So if you go to your Unit 1 module, you're going to click on the Unit 1 Lesson 7 page, which is obviously how you got to this video if you're watching it. Today, we are discussing the fact that students will be able to analyze the decision of the U.S. to expand influence beyond our borders in order to understand the cause and effect of expansion. The notes that I just went through with you are right here. And then you have this one activity. Now, if you are watching this video because you were absent, please do not forget that when you get done with the activity and watching the video, you need to complete the lesson demonstrated form so that you can be counted present for today if you want that attendance changed. So I'm going to go click on task number 1 here and discuss this imperialism activity for you. So basically what you're going to be doing is you have 3 different sections that you're going to look at, and you're going to use that information to complete this worksheet. So I'm going to open this worksheet up. I'm going to make a copy of it just like I normally would. The first section, you're actually going to pull up those notes that I just went through and give me that information here. So if you were in class, like we had the opportunity for you to fill that in class as we were going through it. But obviously, if you're watching this video, you likely weren't in class. So you need to pull up the notes that I just went through. You need to give me the definition of imperialism and then tell me why we actually practice imperialism by giving me the information that I talked about in your notes here. When you are done with that, you need to be able to answer these questions about Alaska and Hawaii, which are going to be 2 territories that we take on. So if I go here, first of all, here's the link to those notes again. But if I go here, I'm going to go to chapter 10, section 1, and it says that it's very important here, only read about the stuff in Hawaii and Alaska. You do not have to read this whole section. So I'm going to scroll down here, and you'll see that we are going to get to a point where it talks about the United States acquiring Alaska. So you're going to read that stuff. And then the United States taking on Hawaii. And this one goes on to the next page just a little bit, but that's it. It's not super long. So you're going to read that information and answer those questions on the worksheet here. When you get done with that, you're going to do the document portion of this assignment. So you're going to have different political cartoons to look at, different reading passages to look at, and this can be a little bit difficult at times. So if you need help at all, I just need you to reach out to me and know that I am here to be able to assist you. So I'm going to open up this document analysis, so part 3. And then you're going to see document A, document B, document C. So these are the 3 things that you have to actually do. Oh, I'm sorry. And D. So the 4 things that you have to do reading from. The rest are going to be pictures for you to look at. So it's not really that much reading. If I go back here, you'll see that on the worksheet, it has documents A, B, and C. So for document A in this box, tell me what is the theme or the message of the passage. Tell me what reason for imperialism is being supported. So one of those 6 reasons that we talked about. And then do the same for B and do the same for C. And then tell me, what do all 3 of these passages have in common with each other? Are they all supporting imperialism? Are they all against imperialism? That's what we're looking for here. Then for documents D and E, you're going to answer these questions. So you're going to tell me what these documents have in common. You're going to tell me why Queen Liliuokalani refused to fight. And then you're going to tell me why annexing Hawaii was a good strategic move for the United States. And you're going to come up with those answers by looking at D here, where you're going to read about Queen Lily or Queen Liliuokalani, and you're going to look at this map right here where you see the United States and Hawaii is in a big circle, and then you see, the rest of the places across the Pacific. So use this map to help you answer that question. And then for your last part, let me pop back over here. You're going to look at documents F and G. And these are just going to be pictures. You're going to tell me what's the message of each of those political cartoons, and then what reason is being supported here. So which of those 6 reasons is being supported for imperialism? And then whenever you're looking at these pictures, that's the wrong thing to click on, this one, you'll see this is one of them. And then you'll see that this is the second of those pictures. When you get done answering all of those items, then you're going to answer these concluding questions and then you submit it. So this is a bit of a longer assignment today. So make sure that you are paying attention, you are focusing, and reach out to me if you have any questions whatsoever. When you're done with this, you are done with today's lesson. And that's it for today. Let me know if you need anything. I'm always here to help, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.